Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that there were a few instances of flashing lights in this video. I'm not totally sure if it's enough to actually be dangerous or harmful to people who are photosensitive, but just as a precaution, I do recommend viewer discretion on whether you watch this video or not. Thanks. Do you guys remember AMVs? Like, those videos where someone would sync up clips from an anime with a song they like to kind of make a fan music video? Yeah, those things. They used to be everywhere on websites like YouTube, and I think a lot of people have fond memories watching them. I was never much of an AMV kind of kid, to be honest. I think it was very much in part to the fact that pretty much the only anime I watched as a little kid was Pokemon, so there wasn't much of a draw for me to watch them. I may not have been a big anime fan, but one thing I was a big Club Penguin fan, and because of that, I got pretty well acquainted with what is known as the Club Penguin music video, or CPMV for short. Although, I'm probably not going to use that acronym too much throughout this video, mostly because some people might see the first two letters and get the wrong idea. The Club Penguin music video is pretty similar to the anime music video, with a few differences. The most obvious one is that while anime music videos use, well, anime as a source for footage, Club Penguin music videos use recorded clips of the game Club Penguin. It's also worth noting that the Club Penguin videos usually featured penguins singing the lyrics of a song as well, which contrasts to the usual AMV material just being clips of characters and fight scenes and stuff. It's kind of like you were making your penguin sing whatever song you were doing, and because you weren't using copyrighted footage for the videos, you only had to worry about the audio segment of your video getting content ID nuked, instead of both the audio and visual component. I weep for the poor souls who ever tried to make a Studio Ghibli AMV. Regardless, although my usual brand of Club Penguin content when I was a kid were comedic skits performed in the game, with the occasional speed paint here and there, I was definitely not a stranger to the art of the Club Penguin music video. I made quite a few myself, in fact, usually whatever Lady Gaga song I was getting turned to at the time. I was a big Lady Gaga fan in 2010. So anyway, today I thought it would be cool to look at some of the old Club Penguin music videos from the late 2000s and early 2010s. They were a big part of my childhood, and I thought it would make for a fun reflection. So, let's just start out with a real classic.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
In late 2021, I recall seeing an old CPMV making its way across a lot of nostalgia pages on the internet, and this CPMV was for the most famous, or infamous Radiohead song, Creep. It's a social anxiety and self-hatred anthem about struggling to make advances on someone you have feelings for. I'm sure a lot of you have heard it. It's undoubtedly Radiohead's most popular song, much to the chagrin of the band. There was a point for several years where they completely refused to play the song because they resented it so much. I still think it's pretty great, even if it's not clearly as avant-garde or boundary-pushing as some of their later stuff. Somehow, it's literally my third most scrobbled song on Last.fm. If I had to guess, I think what really caused this video specifically to get passed around so much a decade after it was made was the very literal interpretation of the song's lyrics. We get several shots of one penguin making advances on the other and failing, much like the song, and wow, the love interest is a savage. I mean, imagine a scenario in which you show your heart to the love of your life, and the cruel bastard drops the nauseated face on you. Like, that's humiliating. Even I wasn't that much of a savage in my days of pizza parlor heartbreaking. One other thing that's really cute about this video is how they handle the curse word in the song. At the end of the first and second verse, Tom York says the line, "You're so fucking special." Excuse my potty mouth, I'm just directly quoting. Obviously, if the creator of this video used that word within the game, they would have gotten banned. And since it seems pretty clear they weren't using a private server in the recording of this, they just decided to zoom in on the surprise expression in-game for a tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement of Tom York's naughty sailor mouth.
That's one of those sentence enhancers.
I know it's Club Penguin, but this video is so good and very emotional. I love the message behind the video itself, feeling out of place for not having a Club Penguin membership. I can truly relate to this, and this video captures my exact emotions I felt at the time. Thanks for the video. You know, I'm really touched by your comment, Lily H, and I appreciate your input, but there's one major flaw in your analysis. SM20 is not a member. You might initially think he is, based on the fact that he has a shirt, and in 2011 it was really uncommon for there to be non-member shirt items, but pretty much everything he's wearing was given out for free at various parties over the years. I mean, honestly, the whole fit screams, I'm trying to dress my penguin with whatever I can get. No offense, he kind of owns it in my opinion. Maybe it's just me, but I do silently hope that SM20 and Boxcar Bob one day come to love each other. I think they'd make a sweet couple. Hopefully one day they'll be able to share an igloo, and perhaps even adopt a few Pookies. That's the dream. Hey, remember that Eminem song featuring Rihanna about the vicious cycle of abuse and toxic relationships? The one with vivid descriptions of domestic violence in the music video and lyrics? Yeah, the Club Penguin version of that is really awesome. The video opens with a title card featuring the Club Penguin music video production company, Wicked Awesomeness Productions, otherwise known as WAP. Eat your heart out, Cardi B. The whole practice of creating these pseudo-production collectives seemed to be a common practice at the time for Club Penguin content creators. I even did it myself. Anyway, I think what makes this whole title card fully complete in my opinion is the old school Sony Vegas lightning effect. It's primo content for sure. This was like otherworldly to me when I was a child. I think what makes this video specifically so memorable among fans of Club Penguin is the fact that a significant amount of the video is actually hand animated. You can see several of the Penguin characters from WAP singing the lyrics to the song, which is honestly pretty cool. All the female penguins take over for Rihanna's chorus, and the male penguins take over for Eminem at certain points. I guess I could be a stickler and complain about the fact that the lip syncing isn't particularly well done, but honestly, that doesn't really matter. What's also really interesting about these hand-drawn parts is that they sort of replicate the shots done for the official music video done for the song. You don't just see the penguins singing in front of a blank background. You can see the guys rapping in a wheat field, tradwife style, much like Marshall, and the girls take on the famous shot of Rihanna in front of a burning fire. The shots are also decorated with these crazy strobe light Sony Vegas lens flares, just how I like them. Unfortunately, there was no effort to replicate the scenes of domestic abuse in Club Penguin. Man, I really should not have been watching these music videos when I was 9 years old. I feel a little bad for highlighting this video specifically, because even though it's Wolf's Rain's most popular video, his CPMVs honestly improved in following years. I was especially stunned at the glow-up in the animation that took place in the Wicked Awesomeness Productions music video for Evanescence's Bring Me to Life, which has much more accuracy in its lip syncing and character lighting. It's actually pretty impressive, especially when you consider that Wolf's Rains was still probably quite young when he made it. Speaking of music videos I should not have been watching when I was 9 years old, I have to talk about this Bad Romance Club Penguin music video by Zany Waffles. That's Zany Waffles with a Z, by the way, not an S, because this is 2010, homie. No one uses S's in 2010. Now, given how popular Lady Gaga was in the years between 2009 and 2012, there is no shortage of CPMVs for her songs. But what makes this one so special to me is the fact that it entirely replicates the original music video in the world of Club Penguin, which to me is really impressive, especially when you watch them side by side. And when I mean everything is crossed over, I mean everything. Those of you who've seen the original music video are definitely aware that it's, quite explicit in its imagery, and as a kid it kind of fascinated and scared me at the same time. There was a lot of freaky crap going on in the bathhouse from hell. Nudity, human trafficking, arson, and even murder. And all of it is captured in the virtual penguin world we all know and love. Let's put some censors on that, folks. We can't have these naked penguins strutting themselves around on my family-friendly YouTube channel. Jokes aside, it honestly is a super impressive endeavor. I literally showed it to a friend while making this video, and he was as amazed as I was. Most Club Penguin music videos would just have penguins dancing around in random rooms singing the lyrics, and although there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, it's super cool to have someone take the extra steps to entirely replicate a music video in a new medium. The little compromises and decisions made to carry over certain elements within the game do a lot to make the video more charming. I love the use of the window to replicate the look of the bathhouse wall, along with the frequent use of the secret stone igloo. I also noticed at one point during the music video, Zany Waffles likely used Penguin Storm or some other trainer to make the penguin huge in order to replicate an up-close shot. I can't help but smile thinking about that. I don't know, I'm weird. And the secret stone igloo is really cool. Like, seriously, it's definitely in my top 5 favorite igloo designs. One of my all-time favorite Club Penguin music videos is this music video done for the song No Love by Eminem and Lil Wayne, done by this guy named Mr. Trop CP. I know it's a bit repetitive to talk about Eminem again, but you've got to understand that the Club Penguin music video community was all over the guy. We couldn't get enough of Slim Shady. Unlike most of the other videos I've talked about so far, it's a lot harder to point out what makes it in particular special. Not to diss Mr. Trop or whatever, that's not really my intent, but I think the reason I remember it so well is that I vividly recall that around the time it came out, a friend of mine in the Club Penguin community was doing a yearly awards show where he was giving out awards for the best Club Penguin artist, best Club Penguin comedy video, and the best Club Penguin music video, among others. I was actually nominated for my brilliant Club Penguin artwork, but somehow I didn't win. I was robbed, frankly. I grinded on MS Paint for these masterpieces. Anyway, I remember this video being involved in the whole discussion. I don't remember 100% if it was just nominated as the best music video or if it won, but I'm willing to bet that it won, because I remember thinking this was like the greatest video ever made when it came out. I mean, I'm not sure if it's just the editing or the content of the song, which is quite vulgar, but Mr. Trop was able to make his penguin look like the most badass hardcore gangster you've ever met. Mind you, this penguin is literally wearing a propeller hat and a Hawaiian lei. And upon closer look, he's also rocking the Music Jam 08 shirt, which is basically my go-to clothing item in the game as well. But something about the presentation makes him look like the most heavy metal mother flipper on the island. The editing was honestly fantastic for its time. Mr. Trop basically treated the Sony Vegas effect library as a toy box here, and this video may have been the original catalyst that got me to upgrade from Movie Maker to Vegas in the first place. Like, in my eyes as a 4th grader watching this video, this was like as good as video editing got. Which is really funny in retrospect, because the whole video seemed to be exported at the wrong resolution, so the 16:9 ratio it was filmed in is shrunk to fit within a 4:3 box. That's kind of a big mistake. No offense, Mr. Trop, just in case you're watching this video I'm making talking about something you did 13 years ago. I don't mean to diss you. One really interesting thing to do while watching this video is paying attention to how the swear words in the original song are carried over to the video. Honestly, it's as entertaining as the video itself. As we went over with the Creep music video, you can't say swear words on Club Penguin, so if you wanted to sing a lyric in-game without getting banned, you had to come up with an alternative. So these penguins are out here saying fuck, clocksucker, betch, and, yeah, I don't think I should say that. I don't know about you guys, but I was not the kind of guy to take a risk like this. I got banned for 24 hours once in Club Penguin because I said you're a bit to someone, and the game assumed I was saying the word bitch. I really can't imagine how they got away with using all these words in the game. Frankly, watching some of these Club Penguin music videos for more vulgar songs and seeing the creators try their best to say the expletives in game is tantamount to watching some old school tightrope videos. You're watching someone teeter on the edge of life and death either way. One person I definitely don't want to forget to mention is honestly one of my biggest YouTube inspirations, even today. In my opinion, the greatest Club Penguin YouTuber of all time, Nachoz Rule. Like, I love CP broadcasts and he's definitely a close second, but I can't really overstate how much Nachoz Rule's channel means to me. He made comedy videos, he did in-game social events, and he was no stranger to Club Penguin music videos. But unlike a lot of other Club Penguin music videos, which tended to be more aesthetically focused and serious, his were often played more for comedy and a lot of the time were based on songs from TV shows or Weird Al parodies. And honestly, I loved them. I still love them. Perhaps a big factor of that is nostalgia, but I feel like there is a lot of due credit here. Nachoz was making content for the game in 2007, and honestly, he was way ahead of his time. His videos often were much more visually involved than his peers, and he would clearly spend a lot more time editing his content than other creators. He would often make edits of footage outside the game, and the production values only got higher as time continued to pass. His videos unquestionably inspired me back when I was a kid, but even now I think his style of doing a little extra visually than his contemporaries has rubbed off into my own philosophy with video making, even today. And I mean, not to brag or anything, but he and I actually were mutual appreciators of each other's content. I couldn't pick a favorite from all his videos, but I definitely think one of the most nostalgic for me is his music video for the iCarly theme song. I really like how he replaces the word B with P in the chorus. I also have Nachoz Rule to really thank for getting me into My Chemical Romance, Weird Al Yankovic, and maybe even REM. You can also include Green Day in that list if you consider showing me a parody of Good Riddance as an introduction to the band. I think one of my biggest regrets of all time was deleting so many of my old videos back when I was a kid, because there were hundreds of videos from that period that are gone and can never be recovered. I wasn't particularly confident with media preservation when I was in elementary school, and because of that, I would delete videos without putting that much thought into it. I had tons of videos for Katy Perry songs, Owl City songs, and especially Lady Gaga songs. I probably made a Club Penguin music video for every single song on the Fame Monster, and it's all gone. You see, back in 2010, I really wanted to be a YouTube partner, and I was basically willing to do anything to get it. But you see, back then, it was not very easy to do. I'm pretty sure you couldn't have any Content ID claimed content on your channel at all. And although the Content ID system is incredibly broken and oppressive today, it was even worse back then, if you can even imagine that. Becoming a partner was also extremely difficult in that era, and it was basically impossible unless you had at least 10,000 subscribers. But even with my measly 300, I was willing to do anything it took. It wasn't even for the money, by the way. I didn't care at all about that. It was literally all just because I wanted a channel banner. My fellow YouTube old heads can definitely verify how elusive these honestly were. It's hard to really put into words how much I wanted one for my own page. I would have done anything. As I said, I literally deleted almost all of my Club Penguin music videos just for the sliver of a chance of becoming a YouTube partner and getting one. But sadly, my plea went unanswered, and the vast majority of those videos are lost forever. Fortunately, there are 2 CPMVs that still exist. One of them is a music video for Today Is Going to Be a Great Day by Bowling for Soup, better known as the theme song to Phineas and Ferb. And this one is old. Like, I didn't even know what Hypercam 2 was yet, it's so old. Because I didn't know how to record footage of the game or even screenshot, I ended up taking pictures of my screen with an actual camera in order to make the video. I also didn't know how to download music online, so I literally put my camera up to my computer speakers and filmed the whole song playing so I could use it in the video. I also made a music video for the Flo Rida song Club Can't Handle Me, and I'm pretty sure the only reason it's still around is that I'd given up on my dream of becoming a partner by the time I uploaded it. Though, I gotta say, I think I did a pretty good job given how young I was. Or maybe not, I don't know. I was delighted to see the new Blue FX logo when rewatching the video though. For those of you who don't know, certain versions of Sony Vegas at the time came with a bunch of extra effects provided by what I assume is just a separate visual effects company known as New Blue FX. The catch is that they were all watermarked in order to bait people to pay for it, but most of us didn't. We just kind of used the effects anyway without really caring. It's honestly hilarious that this was so common. I remember in my own music video making, I would intentionally use the effects just so I could have the logo smacked on top of my footage, which to me is funny on so many levels. I literally considered having this watermark on my video because I deemed it fashionable or something, despite the fact that it was designed to be a nuisance. What was meant to be some Disney World strategy of teasing you and then making you give them money ended up being embraced, and you had an entire generation of amateur Club Penguin filmmakers showing off how they were using these effects without paying. That's punk rock, right? Punk revolution now?
Yes, I can confirm that is punk rock.
He confirmed it. Punk rock. One thing that was mildly disappointing about this whole scene of content creation was the fact that the kind of songs used in these types of videos was pretty limited. It's pretty much all just pop music from the time, along with super iconic songs like Stairway to Heaven or Bohemian Rhapsody. Obviously that makes sense based on who was making these videos, but upon searching some of my favorite songs for the meme and finding nothing, I was a tiny bit sad. I was kind of hoping that there might have been at least one super bass 10-year-old making a music video for Carry the Zero by Built to Spill, or Farewell Transmission by Songs Ohio. But sadly, it didn't seem that the indie rock RYM core community and the Club Penguin music video community had a lot of overlap during Barack Obama's first term. That being said, there still were a few oddball choices out there. There's even a CPMV for the Star Spangled Banner. Green does a music vid because of the anniversary of 9/11. Anyway, I kind of want to close out this video by just saying that although the whole idea of a Club Penguin music video is kind of silly, I found myself having a really nice trip down memory lane looking at some of these old videos today. And even putting the nostalgia aside, I genuinely found it interesting just seeing this profoundly honest and unrestrained way that kids would express their love for music they liked. There's something touching to me about this kind of art form, and that it's really a product of childlike ambition without the kind of hesitance and fear we develop as we get older. The whole thing started because some kids wanted to make characters in a Penguin Flash game sing songs they liked, so they went ahead and did it. And because they did it, they started a whole community of people who would make these videos as a hobby. And also besides that, I kind of have CPMVs to thank for inspiring me to really upgrade to higher end video editing software. Obviously what I was making wasn't super impressive, but it gave me an early start and initial familiarity with how to do things like mask, chroma key, and color correct. To wrap it all up, I just have to restate how important it is to keep records of the goofy stuff you do online. I know a lot of people who deleted all their old videos in moments of insecurity, and nearly all of them regret doing that. I would give anything to watch my Bad Romance music video one more time, but sadly, that doesn't seem to be a real option, and I can't help but be a little bummed about that. So, don't make the same mistake I did. Private your old cringeworthy videos, don't delete them. Thanks for watching.